It might fit me.
In this episode, we go to a cave, we see a train, and we go to the beach.
Eric Klein, it's time to play Hotel Horrors. What have you found?
Check out the expiration date on the elevator inspection. It is from 2018. It is right now 2024. Are we going to make it on this elevator?
Let's ride.
We have found a beautiful tree to sit underneath near the beach. And we have started the day with a quick bite over at a little cafe that was full of Japanese people because I assume it's in the guidebook from Japan that you've got.
It's in the guidebook.
And we had an acai bowl and a little scone.
That scone. The icing?
It was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good. The acai bowl was a little bit, you said ice creamy, I think more like sherbety.
Yeah,
It was a little too cold, I guess, the acai. So it wasn't what I've had before, but I'm not sure. I'm not an expert. Maybe they're just served differently in different places or whatever. But it kind of felt like having fika for breakfast, which is kind of okay every once in a while.
It was intensely sweet.
Yeah.
I really thought acai was like this really healthy thing with like yogurt and stuff. Like I think I'm thinking of parfait.
Parfaits, I don't know if those are so healthy either. And we are waiting at the moment for 2 o'clock to roll around because we are going to then have a automobile. And the reason we're waiting for 2 o'clock is because when we're dropping it off in a few days, it's also at 2 o'clock. And your pickup time and your drop-off time have to be the same, otherwise they charge you for an entire extra day.
Like
so
even if it's just 1 hour, you're going to get charged another $30.
So we just decided that we would just kind of take it easy this morning and then have a car and not have to pay for that extra day just for a couple of hours.
So that brings us to the rental car situation, which is one we found ourselves in before.
One time. And if you do not have a credit card, in some locations you will run into trouble. Rental car companies want credit cards. They will not use debit cards. They will not use debit cards that can be run as credit cards. Which is what we have.
That is the situation we've run into here. I've asked all the possible questions that I can to try and just get them to please run my card and give me a car. But they will not run the card. Very nice, friendly service. I can ask all the questions I need to ask. I get answers like nicely and doesn't like they're not upset that I'm like I really want this but I'm having trouble. So I just straight up asked. I was like, if my dad will give me his credit card and a permission slip, can I use his credit card? And we got the go ahead on that. So yeah. I got my dad to sign off on using his credit card and we're gonna swipe it at 2 o'clock and I've had to contact them. Props to Dad for coming through when we're having some troubles. And 2 o'clock we'll have a car and then
we can explore more. Two things about this that kind of are notable. One, we've only been here for about 24 hours now, or I guess over that a little bit, a day and a half. Everybody here is super nice. Like everybody we've encountered. And like when you go to touristy places, a lot of times, like, you know what I mean? Like you go to touristy places and the people are just kind of like done with tourists. But like I've been listening to the way they talk to us, the way they talk to like everybody else, nothing but kindness from like everybody that I've encountered that like lives on the island. Like it's been kind of astonishing, to be honest, just how nice everybody has been. It's
like you're always greeted with a smile.
Yeah.
Like sometimes people will be distracted by their phones at their job, and I feel like I'm butting into their situation. And straight talk, in America, if that were the case, you don't get presented with a smile. You get kind of confronted with you're an annoyance.
Yeah.
And here, like, even though I've had to like dip into somebody's personal situation, even though they're on the job, they turn around, big smile, how can I help you?
And
like,
the fact
cool.
that she went out of her way to like be like, well, let's see if we can fix this problem for you so you can get a car.
Rental car.
Yeah, like really, really cool. The second thing about the credit card thing that I don't quite understand, like why they demand a credit card, is that like the idea is that if you destroy the car, they want to be able to get their money. I get that, but what if you come in here with like a credit card with like a $500 limit they can't see the limit. They just check the card. You pay your $200 for your rental. You destroy the car, and then they go to charge like $10,000 in the card, and it just gets denied. I don't know what problem they're solving on their side by demanding that everybody uses a credit card, but there must be something in the system, because this has happened now 2 times to us. The first time we got treated like absolute garbage, so it's much more delightful the way that the people here are quite nice. Yeah, not here. Like when we were in Scotland years ago and this occurred. But that was all a scam. Anyways, and then like there must be something I'm not seeing, but to add a little bit of complexity to the credit card situation, if you are going to come visit Guam, for some reason watching this video and you're researching your Guam stuff, you cannot at the moment, December 2024, use American Express on Guam, period. Like anywhere. So don't come here with an American Express only credit card and think you're going to be able to rent a car. Like, you're going to have to ask your dad for permission slip.
Don't even think that you can come here and get an acai bowl from
the girl
a store.
In front of us got turned down.
You can't use it anywhere.
It's like the Bank of Guam isn't connected to the American Express network or something. So like, just be ready for that. But again, I mean, everybody's really nice. They'll probably help you figure out how to get it somehow.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm looking forward to having a car and not having to like tromp around in the sun, because boy, it's like 30 degrees out, so like it's when the wind is blowing it's nice, but when it's not, you're pretty warm.
Yeah, it's sitting in a nice little shadow. But I'd have to say, what we've done so far over the last day and a half, we've been throughout the tourist center from north to south, and we've really kind of seen it up close and personal at a slow speed, like what is here, what's available, what's of interest. So I'm ready to step out, and I don't feel like I've just zoomed past this.
Or we could just ditch the car and just hang out at resorts for the rest of the week.
Yeah, for real. I love stealing resorts. You get to meet the rental car at some point in time, but we have solidified one, and it has carried us to the northernmost part of Guam. It's a beautiful, beautiful beach. Tan sands, super light blue water, but you can only be here until 4, so we have to make a very short video. Since we started our rental at 2 o'clock, we only had time to grab like a quick lunch at Subway, which shout out to Cadence over at the volunteer center, because she hooked us up with some goodies and also said that Subway is her favorite place to have lunch on the days, like weekdays. So we went to Subway on our way here, and it was really, really good. But one of the things that she also did was she said there were promotional goods at the volunteer area and asked if we wanted them. And we said, yeah, sure, why not? So got this bag.
It's like the tourist center, right?
Yeah, she works at the tourist center. We got an umbrella, which haven't opened yet, but it might have some cool Guam notes of some sort on it. I'm gonna save that one for last. We've got like a guide to what kind of fish are in the water. A lanyard to look like a Guam tourist for life. Ooh, we got some like decals down here, some badges. There's even goodies she didn't tell us about in here. This is some sort of like cord. This is like an emblem that you can stick onto some sort of like one of your gadgets.
Over your camera, it's like a privacy thing.
Oh, really? And then last, she gave us a battery bank. And Eric was like, are you for real? So we got this battery bank for free. Okay, thank you. That's very beneficial and will come in handy. Now let's enjoy the scenery. Oh, my bad. I didn't know that you were ready. So, we are on a trail that was promoted by our friend Cadence from the Visitor Center. We're at Agua Cove. It's like a trail that goes out to a cove. Along the way, you're seeing like, this is what we're walking along. Nothing particularly exciting, but we did find something very cool, which we've seen before. It's one of those plants, when you touch it, it moves. You lied, little buddy. He doesn't want to... Maybe I got to be more aggressive.
Maybe it's not the big ones, but only the little ones?
Yeah, the little ones. We were playing around with it. Oh, there they go. Nah, this big guy's got to do something. He's just more... What? Maybe he's dead.
I don't know. He's not doing the business.
Yeah, but all the little guys, they all do the business.
They all do the business.
Woo! It's very fun. Like the whole stem changes. Maybe once they get to a certain size, they're superior to us. Case in point. I feel like some people might see you and they might think that you are scary or not like a gentle person, and you're like one of the most gentle people I've ever met. To prove that, we were just walking through this area and Eric ran into a spider web, and he really loves the spiders. You may have seen one in an earlier video called an orb weaver, and he ran into the spider web and then he saw the orb weaver, which are usually known to be female spiders from what you've found out.
I don't know if that's an orb weaver.
Doesn't matter. He believes that it's a female, and he just turned around. He's like, I'm sorry, sweetheart. Like, he treated it so nice, and he felt bad. You could genuinely tell he felt bad that he scared it. And it's a terrifying creature.
We've trunked on back to like the back of this path. I don't know, it's trailhead. I don't know if it's trail counts, but path. It's clear you're not supposed to go back any farther, like it's private property. And when we looked it up on Google, people in the reviews are like, it's private property, you need to have permission. We don't have permission.
I didn't think to review a hiking trail.
Yeah. So we'll just need to think about that, like, before we go and do other things like this, like make sure the Google reviews say it's okay. But like, they're like, you can go with a hiking group that can get permission and stuff. We are clearly not a hiking group that can get permission. So I don't think we're gonna get to the cove. But I did find maybe a snowman, a bear, snowman of death.
Christmas isn't looking so good.
He's not gonna make it to 2025.
Nah, he didn't make it through 2024. Along the road to get to the trail to nowhere, we found a lot of burnt out cars. This was similar to something we saw in Hawaii, where the cars kind of can't get off the island. And we don't really know why. They've just been abandoned on the side of the road or burnt out, but it's a strange coincidence between two island places.
Just make a sequence of stuff from like the donut shop and stuff with this like shots. Like, it doesn't have to have any music or anything. Just make shots, and then it'll be like the donuts pan up to Katie and she's like, huh? And then there you go.
What am I supposed to be doing here? I'm gonna have some donuts, watch a sunset at Two Lovers Point.
Two lovers?
Two lovers.
Two donuts.
Two donuts. And I needed to confirm how sad the situation for Kmart was. I found conflicting information on the internet, so I'll just explain. There, at the very least, are only 4 Kmarts left in the world. Possibly some in America, some in the Virgin Islands, and here in Guam. So this is the last of a very dying breed.
Let's get up on that blue light special, baby.
Yeah, it's an endangered store. So we've been down to see Austin at the Papa John's, and I feel really good about this meal because it's something that Eric used to get a long time ago. He would always go in and he would order a large, thin crust onion pizza. And that's just a standard for him. So I kind of just feel like I'm getting to enjoy some sort of like Eric classic. We have put some pineapples on one half, which I don't know if that's part of the classic or not. It used to just be onion.
It's just onions, baby.
I didn't used to like pineapple before I met you, and I ate pineapple after meeting you, and or like after dating or whatever. And so I kind of associated that pineapple was your thing, so I guess I thought that was part of this. But we've got onions all over this. Got the Papa John's. We're at the park. It just feels a little bit like high school. Kind of nice. And now that we have a car, we didn't have to pay the delivery fee, so Austin didn't get his cut. Alright, so in the previous video, I called Papa John's and I talked to Austin. And I asked him, like, you guys charge a delivery fee, so do I need to tip on top of that delivery fee? Is it rude? Would the driver think I'm a jerk if I don't give them a tip? Austin told me, no, you don't need to tip on top of the delivery fee. Austin, it says it on your goddamn box. Delivery fee is not a tip. Please reward your driver for outstanding service. You led me astray, Austin. I thought I could go without tipping. But the box rules all.
You would have looked like a jerk.
I would have looked like a jerk. Homeboy, homeboy, homeboy. Fucking Massachusetts! I also found Florida in the parking lot. So that's 3. Virginia, Florida, Massachusetts. Well, Guam. Guam count? Good morning. Eric has brought us to Pikas, which is a local joint here on Guam, and it seems more local for foreign locals. That doesn't sound right. That seems wrong. It's not like your kind of like local joint that's serving out mom and pop food. It is an all-day breakfast restaurant, which feels very, very American. We have gotten the Eggs Benedict, a tower of eggs and bacon and the other stuff that's underneath, which I can't tell what it is because of sauce. So, I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna try and get the cut so that maybe you can see it this time. There you go. That's a winner. Eggs Benedict doesn't happen very much in our lives, so this is kind of a treating ourselves, I think. I am cutting through a huge slice of bacon right now. It is quite thick. You gotta get all the bits. That's the trifecta, quadfecta. That's bacon. Oh my god. This is like bacon with muscles. Like so the bacon just walked in and sat on the sandwich. It was like, yeah. You asked me if this was apple. I don't think that it is. I think it's just more potato. No, it's bacon. I didn't expect that.
Here you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What did you ask for? What's that sauce?
Something that starts with an L. You were gonna thank me. It's kind of like the coolness of ranch without being ranch, and then it's spicy on the end. Kind of like Thousand Island with a little bit of kick, but it's not sweet. It feels like Thousand Island has a lot of like tomato base in it. This doesn't have so much tomato base.
This L sauce is no joke spicy. It's got a lot of kick to it. What's it called?
Lana sauce.
Lana sauce, L-A-N-A.
That's bad pronunciation though. Lana,
Yeah, probably. It's got like a tilde on top of the N. I don't know how to do it. We don't got tildes in English or Japanese. So it's like, it's good. It's exciting. And it's quite spicy. Winner.
Recovering.
We've come to something that is somewhat famous in Guam, especially if you were alive in the 70s, which I look old, but I was not alive in the 70s. But I heard about this because it's like on the Reddits. Every once in a while, it makes the runs. And there's a dude who was a Japanese dude, and he was in the Japanese army back when Japan took Guam during the start of the Pacific War during World War II. And 2 years later, the Americans retook Guam, or captured Guam from the Japanese. And him and a bunch of other Japanese soldiers were like, we can't be captured, like in their minds, where they've been, how things have been explained to them was like, if you're captured, it's the worst thing that can possibly happen. So they fled into the jungle, and over many years, of course, many of them didn't make it, but this one guy, he was alive until 1972. He was alive beyond that, but in 1972, he was discovered by a couple of people who were doing some fishing in the area in these jungles. And the way that he had survived is by digging a cave and living inside of this tiny little cave for 28 years. And man, that's really loud. And he was just like, at night would go out and like harvest things out of the jungle to get food to eat, like frogs or like whatever, shrimp and eels and stuff out of this little river and stuff. And apparently he would stay in the cave in the ground during the daytime, and at night he'd go out and do things he had to do to stay alive. And then that's what his life was like. And he had a couple of other dudes that had died about 8 years before he was found. So they lived in the jungle for like 20 years in their own separate caves, is my understanding. So this dude, when they captured, I don't like this word captured, like discovered him, found him. Like captured to me makes it sound like the guy failed. Like, but like if you had survived in the jungle for 28 years and somebody's like, you're a failure, like that's not, the captured feels weird, right? So when he was discovered, when he was finally found, he knew what year it was, so he kept track of how long he'd been out there, but he did not know that the war had ended. So he thought that the war was like still active, and like obviously it's not. So of course they took him to a hospital on Guam and then took him back to Japan, and he like re-entered Japanese society. And it's vague on the information I could find just like here, like Googling it really quick. But it seems like he didn't really have a good time when like the rest of his life, it was difficult for him. Because I mean, obviously like you're used to being alone inside of a hole in the ground for 28 years in the jungle in Guam, and now all of a sudden you're in Tokyo. It's a bit of a probably vibe change. So they've got this cave here on Guam, but the original was destroyed, I think, because of a typhoon, or it just collapsed in over time. So there's apparently a recreation of the cave in this area in the jungle that we've come to. And it is in an interesting place. And I think we'll just show you more than explain it because let's put it this way. We had to pay $12 to get into maybe a theme park, but there's kitties, so kind of balances out.
Eric has given you the straightforward details of the history of the place that we're at. I'm going to give you the what the fuck of where we are. We got this list. Cost $12 to get in here. It says Loveland as the first item. It's adults only. What? Okay, let's read further down on the list. The ghost house. It doesn't make sense that a historical thing of somebody's fortitude in weird circumstances has led to an amusement park. There's a cable car. I don't know if that's the little trolley that's going around. That doesn't seem like a cable car, but we might get to do that. There are 2 waterfalls that will happen. The last thing on here is the cave. So it's kind of weird. Why would they add all these things on top of like, I guess they have to prove why they want to charge so much money for this? I'm very baffled. Let's go and find out about these things. All right, now we've come to the first stop along this cave route. It is the adults only, 19 years and older, Loveland.
Loveland is a place in Jeju, Korea, which is a not erotic park, but kind of an erotic park where there's like
sexy park.
Yeah, it's a sexy park where they've got all these like kind of nicely made statues and stuff, and they're kind of like all doing the business. It's for newlyweds, kind of. It doesn't feel too cheesy there, but maybe a little bit of cheese. Like I feel like people, when you say these words, people have more cheese in their head than what actually I saw when we were there. You know what I mean? But
You know how when you go to the science museum and it's like they got to have the professional stuff to like make people go, what? Let me think about that. And then you've also got to have the stuff that like brings in the people that are there for just fun. That's what Loveland is. It's like professional art, but also kinky business, so that everyone is happy. They have brought Loveland here. This is a snippet of the Korean version.
It feels like the Kmart version of Loveland is what it feels like. Some of these things are literally exactly the same things that we saw at Loveland. I remember seeing this, and this one's in much worse shape than it was in Korea, but like it's one of these things that you can help and pump. Feels a little weird. There are a lot of statues here that I am just not gonna show in the video because like YouTube stuff's like they're not gonna be like this is okay, because obviously it's kind of, some of it is a little explicitly over the line. Back when we went to Loveland back in the day, I didn't think about that stuff, but now I'm kind of like, maybe I don't want to get some sort of strike on my channel. So gonna be like a little bit sexy but not too sexy. So some of the statues like quite erotic, but I'm gonna say like I remember going to Loveland in Korea and feeling like, yeah, this is something I could store away for later. You know what I mean? Like I could work with this. The stuff here just kind of feels kind of like you're not gonna get the business done. Like you're not gonna leave here and be like, oh, there's a little tingle in my mind. Like that's not there. This is just kind of creepy, to be completely honest. Just the way it's being presented, the unprofessionalness of it is a little peculiar, and the fact that we're on a way to a cave where a man lived for 28 years, like hiding in the ground. Like it's the vibes are just not there. It could also have to do with the gunfire going off. It's not really ringing my bells.
It's hard to get a boner in this climate.
Yeah. I think I found the sexiest fella in the Loveland. This guy is just dripping masculinity.
Oh, indeed.
Because you know you're getting into the sexy town when you're getting into Tail Town.
Cable cars don't come cheap, dude. Cable cars cost money. Like, it's part of our own little cube.
This is part of our admission, though. This is kind of worth it.
Yeah. This is an exciting little moment. And you don't even get to see where we're going. So apparently there's also a cable car involved where you take it down. They're going to be able to see 2 waterfalls while we're down there. Some other stuff, and then eventually reaching the cave. And then we'll get to take the cable car back up. Pretty cool. I don't know how much I trust this.
Do you think that the cable car was inspected more recently than the elevator at the hotel?
Check the pole for the inspection. They didn't write it on there.
Are you brave enough to hop on this bridge?
See that spider?
I don't know if she's into this.
Still waiting for the cave, but step number 5 along the route is the gift shop, which does not seem to be operating at this moment. It's kind of not happening. Behind us is step 6. This is the museum. I do not trust this, dude. That looks like the ghost house, but like not a like somebody, you're gonna open the door and it's another ghost, you know? Like,
it'd be pretty
I'm
good
not
if they
opening that
it'd
door.
be a
I've
good
already convinced
ghost
myself.
house if they just flip the labels on them so the ghost house surprised you.
But so that we missed the gift shop? I actually thought we could get some weird postcards from this situation that people would value.
Do you think it's actually open?
Yeah, and I'm not opening the door. You're
go
opening
open the door.
No.
Come on, go open the door. You're good.
Is it ghosts? It's air conditioned.
It can't be so bad.
No, dude. Do not like this. Wow, we should be 19 or older to get in here. Straight talk. 19 or older.
To be honest, that statue is better looking than any of the statues I saw in Loveland.
Eric's gonna help me a little bit, but just to make sure that I get this history correct. The museum is actually quite good at explaining the story of what has happened inside Guam over the last couple of centuries. So, we're gonna start out with the natives living their normal life foraging, taking care of themselves. That's where we start. Walking around the corner, more natural, native lifestyles. 1600s? 1600s?
Yeah, 1600s.
The Spanish come. Now, it's a lovely greeting that quickly turns into something not so great. Here, they take over the civilization violently. Next, we go around the corner and we start to see that America takes the island from the Spanish. This happened in the Spanish War. It was since America won, it was given to America.
Late 1800s.
So late 1800s, the Americans come. You start to see what are Navy dudes? Sailors and officers.
I think the word you're looking for is seamen.
The seamen and also the officers relaxing and enjoying. Here.
Specifically, there's commingling taking place here as well.
Yeah.
They're showing kind of a positivity towards the Americans, and
this gives a huge instance of positive American relationships, a handshake, happy faces. We come around the corner, living together, supporting each other, working together, rebuilding together. It continues here, happy America. We come around the corner. This is going to be during World War II, 1941.
2, right?
42?
Yeah, Pearl Harbor, 42.
Yeah, and so the Japanese come and they take Guam for 2 years. And during those 2 years, it's again, like the Spanish, another violent, uncomfortable situation for the people in Guam. Still zigzagging. Then we come through here, we're still with Japan and that situation. That seems to take over for quite a bit of the, for a 2-year situation, it has a lot of wall space. But war can really impact a history. And then we come around the corner. Here, this is kind of echoing what Yokoi, the man who was trapped, or not trapped, who stayed in the cave, it's kind of talking about how the Japanese mindset was changed by the army. They insisted that those who were out in the field never surrender, because if you become a POW, they can steal information from you, but if you kill yourself, they can never take that information from you. So they were told either to kill themselves or never submit to the opposition. So Yokoi stayed where he was. He followed commands, and that's why we're here. That's why he existed in this area for so long. Then the Americans gain back control of the country, and Christianity eases all.
I don't. My Christian knowledge isn't smart enough to understand that this is some specific saint or something. So if anybody knows, in the comments, what this is supposed to be showing, I don't. This kind of just seems like obviously heaven, you know what I mean,
or serenity of some sort.
The horrors are over. That's what they're trying to convey. But I don't know if there's more deep meaning to this that we don't understand.
So it really, the museum actually gives a pretty good understanding of the path of what happened, but it lacks text. What it gets out of not having text is true imagery of the situation and a flow of the story, but it lacks dates and doesn't give people the ability to feel the timeline so much. So it's a very interesting museum. That really told the story. Eric kind of already told me the story, so I kind of knew a little bit already. So maybe you need an Eric.
I actually kind of like that it didn't have text, because I think that it made you ingest everything through the medium of art. To me, gave it more impact than if it was just placard, and you gotta read them. And you read you're in a museum, and you read half of it and you go to the next one, and nobody, what I mean? This thing is made it really quick to just ingest the information. I do wish, like Katie said, there were just dates written on when events had happened, to give you just a rough idea of when certain things were going on. But I the way it conveyed information to me was quite impressive, actually. We've been clowning on this place a little bit because of how kind of ridiculous a lot of this stuff is, and let's be honest, a lot of this sort of is ridiculous, but that was done up in a way that was kind of impressive.
We didn't even mention the waterfall they gave us access to.
Oh, yeah. There's also a waterfall.
There's another one we haven't even seen. Most of the walkways here are cement, and this area is just a couple of stairs, or like a long walkway of stairs. And we noticed some animal decided to make itself known for the rest of eternity. We're thinking maybe a wild boar or deer don't seem to be like something you would see here, so kind of feeling like this might be a wild boar.
Are there wild boars on Guam?
Did you see the
diorama?
It say?
Oh, okay, no, I didn't
There
see
was
it.
a dead boar. Oh. That's what they were planning to eat for dinner.
The part of this that's actually kind of cool is getting to kind of tromp through the jungle and envision what it was like for this guy to live inside of that cave for so long in this environment. Getting to see the waterfalls and stuff, and I'm not sure if he was exactly here, because like I said, the cave was destroyed and they rebuilt it. I'm not sure how far apart they were or whatever, but just to get to be in this environment. And for the record, like, we were getting devoured by mosquitoes a second ago when we shot the thing with the maybe wild boar prints in the ground, like just covered in mosquitoes. So you got to think about, like, that's just one of the trials and tribulations that this guy was going through during his time just out here in the jungle. And he managed to, like, survive. Think about all of the other things that he had to go through that, like, we're not even going to see during this stroll through the woods, essentially, that we're doing, compared to 28 years living in a hole in the ground, the jungle. It's like hard to wrap your mind around this. I really can't figure out if this is actually physically where Yokoi's cave was. We keep saying contradictory information that is like, it collapsed, it's not there anymore, they rebuilt it, it's like a thing there, it wasn't there anymore. It's really confusing, but I'll be real with you, it feels like this is actually where the cave was, and I'll show you a couple of reasons why. One is from B-roll that I'll lay over, from the diorama that they showed us when we first came in, showed this layout exactly how we are looking at it now, where there's a river next to where the cave is. And that feels like exactly like what we're looking at. And let's go down and check it out. So again, like, keep in mind, 28 years in a hole in the ground, and there was no concrete stairs. So as we come down here, there is this like serene little river that is probably got things to eat in it. That would be obviously important to staying alive if he needed to be alive. I guess you could drink that water too. He's getting water somewhere, but it doesn't necessarily look like Aquafina. And then there's the sign that probably wasn't here when he was here. I doubt there was a advertisement. And then there's a cave with just like a hole in the ground with this barrier that looks like it's been here from a long time, which is why I'm thinking maybe this is actually the one that's been here for a really long time, because just the condition of the infrastructure around it. And it is just, it's terrifying to look down in. Simply terrifying to think that he went down there every day and that's where he was for 28 years. And I was trying to think of like, where was I in my life when I was 28? And then thinking about like the point of born to that stage, that took 28 years. Like try to do that to yourself if you're 28 years old. You know, like how much time was that actually? It was a really long time.
Beautiful scenery, little bit of fear, great. I would say I'm leaving somewhat impressed. I feel like once we got away from this building that we're at right now that has the ghost house and the love land, once you're down the cable car, everything is kind of like feel the environment, see the beauty of the area, learn about history, go to the actual cave, enjoy the cable car. Like, that was kind of incredible.
And like for $12 per person, sounds like a lot, but you got a cable car right out of it?
You got a cable car.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally understand. I feel like maybe they should put the Loveland at the bottom of the list, like when you come back. Like, it just really deterred the whole vibe for me. And maybe it like really lowered my expectations about what I was about to see.
That's good.
And then I'm like really impressed when I left. So, you know, I'm not a professional at this. I'll leave it to them. They've done a good job.
Katie, by the way, is too much of a wuss to go in the ghost house.
Yeah, I have to pee, and
But that would solve the problem.
it would definitely solve the problem. It'd make a new problem for them, and I'd just go into the ocean and clean it all off. But yeah, I don't want to open that part of me right now and just be scared. Like, I'm already hot, in a little bit of pain from like blisters with my feet. I'm a little bit hungry, and I just don't want to add like random fear to that right now.
We've driven about 3 minutes from where the parking lot for the soldier that had been living in the ground was. And keep in mind, he was living there until the early 70s. What's behind me is a disused military installation that the United States used during the Apollo era as a communications link to the Apollo astronauts while they were transiting to the moon and perhaps even on the moon. So there's a few of these around Earth so that they would have like a constant signal as the Earth turned and the moon moved and all those things happened to the dudes up in space. And back in the day, it was a little different than it is now because there weren't so many satellites, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a ground station that would receive signal from the astronauts that were part of the moon missions. And keep in mind that the dude in the cave in the ground was just over there, like walking distance, while dudes were on the moon. And we're walking on the moon, sending their signal down through this station so they could communicate with like people on Earth. It's just mind-blowing, and this is kind of cool. It's closed off, obviously, not allowed to go back there and stuff, but it's a cool little hidden gem, I suppose. I like NASA stuff. I'm a little NASA nerdy, so it's kind of cool to come and see this. So yeah, we found another cool thing, and now we got to find food. I'm dying here. Come to a small market in search of lunch, but we went in, the very friendly man, which again, I'd like to reiterate, everybody here is very friendly.
Everybody's friendly.
Literally everybody is friendly. It's amazing. Was like, I had bad news, the kitchen is closed. But he had snacks.
Yeah, and we were like just wandering around, and he kept pointing out different kinds of snacks, like things that might satisfy us, because he knew that we came there for lunch. And one of the things, and Eric was like, should we even make a video of it? If you get something from around the register, that's an important spot. That's a special area. And on top of it, if the man suggests it to you and it is a cream cheese roll that is sweet, you should go for it.
So we
it's
think
like,
the outside is sweet and the inside is just cream cheese.
The outside is sweet and the inside is regular cream cheese. So I think it's kind of a savory meets sweet type thing. And it seems a bit soggy, and it's got kind of a potato roll type vibe to it. I have to shake it out of the bag right now. We having a dog situation?
Yeah, there's just a lot of like, the island is not like covered with wild dogs or half domesticated dogs that are their own dog.
I don't know how to show how wet that is, but it's pretty wet.
But there's like, just those dogs all around. Just keep walking by. I know the smell.
It's like a potato roll that is even sweeter than a potato roll.
Oh God, it's like wet on the outside, you're right.
I just told you it was wet.
Like, it's buttery wet.
When you zoomed in on the wetness, did you not believe the wetness? The bread is also sweet.
Pretty good.
It's a sweet, soggy meets cream cheese stick. It's just a stick of cream cheese. It's not like they patted cream cheese onto it or whatever. He told me it's like a cream cheese stick, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but I'll just nod and go, yeah, I can think of a cream cheese in a stick format.
It's just like sweet butter on the outside? Like sugar and butter?
Sugar and butter.
All right, it's good.
Yeah.
Why'd we only get one? He had a whole stack.
I didn't know where this was going.
Can you hold this thing so I can B-roll it? Mm-hmm. Can you lick my fingers off?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
You lick your own fingers, but not mine?
Yeah.
This is still on.
We came to what is a natural pool, so like what you see behind me has been carved out by the ocean, and there's like a blockade where the waves hit rocks and they don't come into this cove, but yet this stays full with water. Full enough that people can dive off this diving board into it, and we saw a couple people do it, which was really cool. I'm not gonna do it, I would be fine, but we haven't done our watering thing, so like, if we're gonna go swimming, then yeah, but if we're not, then no, and I think we're not going to. It's been a nice little park to chill in. We have been watching preteen annoyance.
Debauchery.
a little bit of debauchery, but it's a relationship between a boy and a girl, and it's just been like that over flirtatious, like that aggressive flirtatious where they're throwing stuff at each other, and they just went off into the woods alone. So just thought I'd share that with you. We came just a few minutes down the road from the natural pool and have found Bear Rock, which you can see in the background. Now, Eric and I both agree, does not look like a bear. Looks a little bit more like Godzilla, which I also like Godzilla, so it's fine. Doesn't matter which kind of rock this is, I'm satisfied. Can I start it? Got cute stuff to say. One of the side quests that we're working on right now is coconut crabs. And we asked the lady at the visitor center. She suggested that we go to a spot where her and her friends had caught some previously, but it feels real unnatural. It's just a road that she told us to go to. We drove the road last night. We'll probably drive the road tonight as well. But here we're seeing evidence of coconut crabs. That being that below a lot of coconut trees, you will find big ass holes. The coconut crabs like to live in burrows that make networks. So there's a whole like network of tunnels underneath us right now. And another thing that shows you that they're here is that you're seeing the evidence of all the coconuts that have been eaten, all of the husks. So we're hoping to maybe find some coconut crabs. Don't know if we'll find them here or if we'll come back to this spot because it's a little farther than the road that we were suggested, but this seems a little more natural for the coconut crabs. Aha!
Get him!
Where are the coconut crabs, sir? Where are they? You tell us where they are. He's quiet. He's not giving up anything. Look at those eyes. He'll never tell. It's been a long day out in the sunshine, and Eric's brain has completely shut off. We've managed to get to dinner though. We're at a place called the Local Grindhouse. This was turned on to us by Cadence at the visitor center. We've basically just taken all of her word as gospel and have taken all the leads that we can. And with the food in front of me, I feel like it's a score. This is called the Fiesta plate. Fried chicken, spare ribs, coleslaw. This is a food that we don't really know. Kelagoon, something. It's not easy to pronounce. It is a Chamorro food that we've never had. This is like a tortilla that is also of that style of food. Red rice, and over here are kimchi noodles. Normally we'd bite into this and we'd tell you about each bite. I'm just gonna go ahead and say we're gonna do an after eats review. We're gonna enjoy each of the bits and then maybe talk about what was our favorite. So we're gonna jump in and be back with the after eats review in a minute. Or a second for you.
All right, the standout is, this is gonna surprise some people. The red rice is actually really good. It's clearly not like a Japanese rice, which I'm kind of snobby about, so you have to like take your mind out of that. But it's not like a gelatinous blob either. It's like well-defined and has a pretty good flavor to it, and it just makes sense with the rest of the cuisine. But the thing is good. The thing that really sticks out is this little, I think it's beef dish. It has vinegar, onions, and some sort of citrus is in there. What we were doing is kind of putting some of that in our mouth and then eating this pastry with it. And I don't know if pastry is even the right word. It's like a bread, tortilla bread, kind of?
I think it's called tortillas.
Oh, is it tortillas? Is that what you said?
Maybe.
Say it again?
It's called tatizas.
Tatizas. Okay, cool. Would you consider it like a bread? Like a tortilla? How would you define this? How would you?
It's more of a flour.
Like a flour.
Like how bread is pretty much bread.
Dough, but not made into a bread.
Yeah, it's very good. It's interesting flavoring. Yeah. It's surprising the way the texture is surprising. It's almost like cookie, a little bit, but not sweet at all.
I feel like it lands somewhere close to soft rice cracker.
Oh, like a cipher. Yeah, that's good. So Katie say like a soft rice cracker is where it lands.
I'm good at these food reviews.
Maybe you should be the one in front of the camera. The other things are good, but those are the things that really stand out. And most of the other things, I mean, people have had fried chicken before. You're going to be able to know what that kind of is like. This is a kimchi flavored rice noodle as well, which is a good side. It's just like a good thing on the side. It's just like a different flavor from everything else. So this is really fun that we were able to just try something that's like a lot of different flavors all in one shot.
Continuation of the After Eats review. We are not rib specialists, but we didn't understand the ribs.
Yeah, that's the best way to say it. I don't get what the ribs were trying to do. The staff obviously could hear us. But
yeah, so I was
I don't want to be rude because the food is not bad there. It was really good. Yeah. But the ribs themselves just kind of tasted like burnt. Like there was nothing else happening, and the meat was very thin on the ribs. And I feel like maybe it's not supposed to be like a main thing. It's supposed to be like a little side thing, and you just like learn to enjoy that little experience.
Bit. Yeah,
because
it did look similar to the pictures I saw. So it's not supposed to be like your big like honkin' rib. It's supposed to be like around that circular bone.
Am I coming at it with the wrong perspective of like ribs are supposed to be like, you know, dripping off the bone and a lot of meat and like sweet or something, and you know what I mean? Like, am I coming at it with just like this in the wrong I can't think of like a predisposing
from the wrong perspective.
From the wrong perspective, you know. I mean, just like I feel like I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Because everything else
stuff on the plate was great.
Was made so well that must be the intention that they're going for with the ribs, and we just don't get it.
Yeah.
That's my take.
If you go in, just know maybe your perception on ribs is gonna change.
Want to share another hotel horror? Here in the hallway, like our room is just down here, and we walk past the security camera. Look at this. Why is this happening? I'd like to amend a little bit about the hotel too. Some of the things we talked about. Certain things have gotten better since we've been just basically letting the aircon run constantly since we have like been here for like the last couple days. The smell of mold in the room is way down. Like it's still present, but it's not like
the hallway.
The hallway is intense.
I can't believe you made that last video and survived.
Oh yeah. They also fixed the flickering light. Like Katie went and talked to them about the flickering light. So at this stage, the things that are just not that great about the hotel really just is that the bathtub is really nasty. And next to the toilet, it's got this really gross thing happening. This is really gnarly. Everything else is basically fine. Like, it's not wonderful or anything, but it's totally livable. Like, especially since we mostly don't spend time in hotels. We just get sleep and then bathe and then get up in the morning and leave. So for that purpose, it's totally fine.
I wrote the cleaning staff a note today because things aren't getting replaced in the room like normal, and there aren't things that you can just go downstairs and grab. Like, you're supposed to get like a water a day, which Guam's water from the tap is safe, but it's got a bit of a taste. So I was looking forward to the bottled waters. I also asked for, they give us these. They give us the Dr. Brown's coffee packets.
It's not a doctor. It's only a mister.
Mister. I gave him qualifications that he did not succeed at. So they usually should give you them. So I wrote that on the paper, and they've neglected to give me more. So this is a bummer.
Turns out that the light in the toilet room is actually broken again. We'll put a lamp in here or something, because you can't sit in there, man. It's like, cooks your brain.
You need a lamp?
Katie's got dial up the lamp already. Taking your life in your hands, plugging something into that socket, though.
It's another hotel horror, that's all. It'll be fine, hold on. Here we go.
Get some ambiance going.
Ambiance.
And like, it's kind of nice, like the toilet glows blue.
Yeah?
I don't know why. I've read things that are contradicting. I'm going to start over. Contradicting. Is it still going?
Yes.
Go ahead.
It didn't bleh in your direction. I'm going to make a joke. I've been holding on to this one, all right? And I can hear the gunfire in the background. Do you think that when they put up the shooting range, he just assumed the war was still going? All right. I think that my jokes go too far. So, Eric, I'm really sorry. But I have to do the joke, and then you have to tell me it's too far, and then we don't put it in the video, okay? But this is so broken that it's a just the tip situation.
Oh, a little deep there.
Just a tip. You don't get pregnant that way. I just also wanted to add that I really enjoyed the ride in the car. It reminded me so much of being a little kid with the pizza on my lap, and I'm wearing shorts today, so it's kind of burning my legs. It was totally worth it, and the whole car smelled like pizza. We're gonna go back to the car, it'll smell like pizza. Yeah, that's two of the things that are great about getting pizza takeout.
Meow, 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 meow. Oh, that's what we need, yeah.
A little bit of a dip there. Eric's been like just bouncing on it, where I'm just like, oh, what's happening? What's happening? It's not nice.
Got that in 4K. I will,
I won that game of chicken. If you're digging our videos, consider helping us make more over on Patreon, where you can get tasty perks for your support, linked below.